Ever noticed how some people command attention without saying a word? They don't chase approval, they don't seek recognition, yet everyone feels their presence. Most try to be heard, the powerful. They make others wonder, and that's the difference between being ignored and being unforgettable. The most powerful individuals in history understood this. Control perception, and you control the game. The moment you stop seeking validation, people start craving yours. The moment you become emotionally untouchable, they start fearing your absence. Influence isn't taken, it's given by those desperate to earn your attention. In this video, I'll break down the psychological power moves that make you irresistibly influential, so you never have to demand respect again. Master this, and you'll own every room you walk into. Influence isn't about talking more, it's about being in control. The most powerful people don't chase attention, they attract it effortlessly. And if you want to master influence, you must understand the psychology behind it. But before we get into specific power moves, let's break down the core principles that make certain people naturally magnetic. Think about the most charismatic people you've met. What made them stand out? Their words, their confidence, their presence. Most people try too hard. They over-explain, overshare, overcompensate. But real influence, it's restraint. It's about controlling the rhythm of an interaction, making people lean in, not by talking more, but by saying just enough to make them want more. The moment you stop over-explaining, they start paying attention. The moment you leave gaps in the conversation, they start filling them. Because influence isn't about proving your worth, it's about making them feel your presence. But influence isn't just about presence, it's about connection, and the fastest way to make people feel connected to you is to use a psychological phenomenon called the chameleon effect. Humans are wired to trust those who feel familiar to them, and the fastest way to create that familiarity is through mirroring. This is the chameleon effect, a psychological principle where people subconsciously feel closer to those who reflect their tone, gestures, and pace of speech. If they lean in, you lean in slightly. If they speak slowly, you adjust your pace. If they pause before responding, you do the same. It's subtle, it's natural, and when done right, it makes them feel comfortable around you without even realizing why. But here's the secret. The key isn't to copy them exactly. It's to reflect just enough to create subconscious alignment. Too much, and you seem inauthentic. Just enough, and they feel an unexplainable connection with you. They won't know why, but they'll trust you more. They won't question it, but they'll feel drawn to you. Now that you understand how to make people feel comfortable with you, let's talk about how to make them respect you. People don't judge you based on logic, they judge you based on perception. And the halo effect is proof of that. The moment someone perceives you as confident, competent, or successful, they unconsciously assume you have other positive qualities as well. If you dress well, they assume you are intelligent. If you speak with certainty, they assume you are capable. If you carry yourself with poise, they assume you are important. This is why first impressions matter. Because once people form a perception of you, it's hard for them to change it, even if they later see evidence to the contrary. That's why powerful people never leave their image up to chance. They control how they are perceived before anyone else gets the chance to define them. But influence isn't just about the first impression. It's also about the long game, and that's where crowd psychology comes into play. There's a reason people follow certain individuals instinctively. It's not about dominance, it's not about force, it's about control. Ever noticed how, in a crisis, people look to the one who seems the calmest? They don't follow the loudest voice. They follow the one who looks like they have a plan. When you are unpredictable, they respect you more. If they can't predict your next move, they assume you know something they don't. If you don't react emotionally, they believe you are in control. If you leave a little mystery, they stay invested, trying to figure you out. Think about history's most influential leaders. They didn't demand attention. They didn't force respect. They created an aura that made people want to follow them. And the foundation of that aura? Confidence, mystery, emotional discipline. You don't need to prove yourself. You just need to master presence. Because the moment you do, people instinctively follow. But here's the problem. Most people ruin their influence the moment they lose control over their emotions. Let's talk about why emotional control is the ultimate weapon. The fastest way to lose influence is to lose control of your emotions. The fastest way to gain influence is to make them question theirs. If someone insults you and you react, they win. If someone pressures you and you stay calm, they respect you. If someone tries to test you and you remain unshaken, they start doubting their own tactics. Most people think influence is about persuasion. It's not. True influence is about making them second-guess themselves while you remain centered. The less reactive you are, the more control you have. The more controlled you are, the more influence you gain. So now you understand the psychology, but how do you apply it in real life? In the next section, I'll break down the exact power moves that make people gravitate toward you without you ever needing to force it. Influence isn't forced, it's magnetized. The most powerful individuals don't chase attention. Attention naturally gravitates toward them. And if you want to command a room without saying a word, you must understand the law of social gravity. But what makes someone naturally magnetic? Let's break it down. Every truly influential person has one thing in common: they move with intention. They don't rush. They don't seek approval. They don't fidget nervously. Every step, every glance, every action is deliberate. The most captivating leaders, they don't try to be noticed, but everyone notices them anyway. Why? Because they exude a sense of purpose. They move slowly, deliberately, as if every action is backed by certainty. When you rush, you look anxious. When you slow down, you look in control. When you seek attention, you seem needy. When you act like you don't need it, people give it to you. This is the power of moving with purpose. Because people don't follow the loudest voice. They follow the one who seems to know where they're going. But movement alone isn't enough. If you want true influence, you must also master the psychology of scarcity. What happens when something is always available? People take it for granted. What happens when something is rare? People desire it more. This is why the most influential people are never overly accessible. They don't engage in every conversation. They don't respond to every message instantly. They make people earn their time. If you're always available, your time has no value. If you always say yes, people stop appreciating it. But when you make your presence selective, people start working for it. Scarcity increases value, And if you want people to value your presence, you must stop giving it away so easily. Influential people don't just walk into a room and engage with everyone. They hold back. They make others initiate first. They create an aura of exclusivity. And the moment people feel like they need to earn your time, that's when they start chasing it. But scarcity alone isn't enough. The true secret to social gravity, it's not what you say, it's what you don't say. Ever noticed how most people can't stand silence? They rush to fill the gap, nervous, desperate to be heard. The powerful, they let silence do the talking. Because here's the secret, people don't fear silence itself, they fear what it means. If you don't react to an insult, they wonder what you're thinking. If you pause before responding, they feel the weight of your words. If you don't rush to fill every gap in a conversation, they start filling it for you. People project their own thoughts onto empty spaces, and if you master controlled silence, you control their thoughts without saying a word. Influence isn't just about what you say, it's about what you make others feel. And when they start overanalyzing what you didn't say, that's when they become invested. Try this. Don't answer every question. Instead, let them wonder. That's how you make yourself unforgettable. If you want people to instinctively respect you, follow you, and feel drawn to your presence, you must apply these 3 rules. 1. Move deliberately. Never rush. Walk into every room like you belong there. Move like someone who knows exactly where they're going, even if no one else does. The slower and more controlled your movements, the more in control you appear. 2. Let attention come to you. Don't seek it. Stop trying to be noticed. Stop trying to make an impression. Just be present and let them notice you on their own. Because the moment you chase attention, you lose it. 3. Maintain a calm, confident aura. No matter the situation. No sudden reactions, no emotional outbursts, no nervous fidgeting. When people see you remain unshaken, they assume you're someone who should be followed. Social gravity isn't claimed, it's felt. And once they feel it, they never forget you. And the moment you master it, you'll never have to seek influence again. It will come to you naturally. But presence alone isn't enough. If you truly want to dominate any social dynamic, you need to know when to be seen and when to disappear. The difference between those who command respect and those who beg for it is one simple thing. The high-status frame. The moment you stop seeking approval, people assume you already have it. But what does that actually look like in real life? There's a reason why truly powerful individuals don't ask for validation. They don't try to prove themselves. They don't justify their decisions. They don't chase approval. Why? Because the moment you act like you need approval, you admit you don't have it. Think about how people react to celebrities, CEOs, or high-level executives. They don't beg for attention. They don't try to convince people to respect them. Instead, they act as if respect is already theirs, and people subconsciously agree. The way you carry yourself tells the world how to treat you. Act like you're seeking approval, and they'll make you work for it. Act like you already have it, and they'll assume it's deserved. But mindset alone isn't enough. To truly own a high-status frame, you must also master dominant body language. Words are weak compared to presence. And the most powerful individuals don't just speak confidently, they exist confidently. They stand tall, they take up space, they move with certainty. Their posture says everything before they even open their mouth. Fire key body language. Rules. First stand tall, expand, don't shrink. Weak people shrink themselves. They cross their arms, hunch their shoulders, and make themselves small. Powerful people do the opposite. They expand. Feet firmly planted, shoulders back, head held high. This isn't arrogance. This is presence. 2. Do not rush to respond or overreact. When a high-status individual speaks, they take their time. They pause before responding, making people lean in and pay attention. The moment you stop rushing to fill silence, you control the interaction. 3. Control your facial expressions. Keep reactions minimal. Facial expressions reveal more than words ever could. If you flinch, they know they got to you. If you smirk, if you remain unshaken, if you keep your face unreadable, they start second-guessing themselves. Key shift in mindset. Powerful people don't need to prove anything. Their body language does the talking for them. But what happens psychologically when you stop seeking validation? The answer is everything. When you don't seek validation, people assume you already have authority. When you're not desperate for approval, they start wondering why. Think about any high-level executive or influential figure. They rarely seek reassurance. They speak with certainty, even if they don't have all the answers. They move like someone who's already respected, and that confidence makes others believe in them. People become drawn to certainty. When you act with conviction, they trust your presence. People assume confidence equals capability. Even if they don't know your skills, they believe in them. People test less. When someone senses weakness, they push. When they sense confidence, they respect. But what happens when someone challenges you? This is where true high-status individuals stand apart from the rest. The weak defend themselves immediately. The powerful wait. Because when someone challenges you, their goal isn't the words, it's your reaction. When questioned, most react instantly, explaining, defending, overcompensating. But high-status individuals, they don't react at all. Instead, they pause. They observe. They let the other person feel the weight of their own words. Humans fear uncertainty more than rejection, and when you stay silent, they don't just question you, they question themselves. How to apply the silent resistance technique? When challenged, don't rush to explain. Just observe. Instead of defending, let them fill in the silence themselves. If they expect an emotional reaction, stay calm and watch them become uncomfortable instead. They expected to control the conversation, but now they're scrambling to figure out why you aren't reacting. When you stop reacting, they start questioning themselves. Now that you've mastered presence, let's move to the final step: how to make people work for your approval instead of the other way around. What's the one thing that keeps people endlessly intrigued? The unknown. Predictability is boring. The moment they feel like they have you all figured out, you lose your influence. But what does controlled mystery actually look like in real life? The power of mystery. Why it works. People are wired to fill in the blanks. The moment something is left incomplete, the human brain fixates on it. This is the Zeigarnik effect. Unfinished business lingers in the mind more than completed actions. Think about cliffhangers in movies, or an unanswered text message. The lack of closure creates tension. And that tension, that's what keeps people hooked. Now imagine applying this principle in your personal and social interactions. The moment they don't have full access to you, they crave it even more. But the real question is, how do you make this work in real life? Mystery isn't about complete silence, it's about strategic omission. The 80-20 rule of mystery is simple. Share 80% of the obvious, but always keep 20% hidden. That 20%? That's what keeps them coming back. That's what makes them think about you long after the conversation is over. Imagine a high-level entrepreneur being interviewed. He shares valuable insights, lessons from failures, and personal experiences. But when asked about his next big move, he simply smirks and says, "You'll see soon enough." Now, everyone is hooked. They speculate, they anticipate, because he didn't give them everything. But mystery isn't just about what you say, it's about how you carry yourself. What happens when you reveal too much, too soon? People stop valuing your presence. But when they feel like they don't fully have you, they invest more effort. The moment they believe there's something more beneath the surface, they start chasing to uncover it. Pause before answering. Let them feel the anticipation before you speak. Respond in a way that invites curiosity instead of satisfying it. When someone tries to dig too deep, redirect the conversation with a question of your own. But the real secret weapon of mystery, it's not just about words, it's about presence. The power of controlled absence. Make them feel your mystery. Sometimes the most powerful move isn't what you say, but when you choose to disappear. True influence isn't just built in presence, it's also built in absence. Think about someone who's always available. People take them for granted. But the moment they pull away, suddenly everyone wants their attention. Scarcity increases value. When they don't have full access to you, they appreciate every moment more. Leave social settings while the energy is still high. Let them wonder why you left. Sometimes engage fully in a conversation. Other times, stay distant and reserved. Disappear for a while. Make them question what you're doing, rather than always being predictable. But controlled absence isn't the only tool of influence. There's one final technique that solidifies your power. The art of the unfinished thought, leaving them wanting more. Most think influence comes from saying more. The truth, it's leaving them with questions. Instead of saying, "I work in finance," say, "I help people make money in ways they never expected." Now, they want to know more. They lean in. They start asking questions, because you've created curiosity. End conversations at their peak, not when they're dying out. Give partial answers. Make them ask for more. Sometimes, remove yourself from the equation. Let them feel your absence. Controlled mystery isn't just about attraction. It's about obsession. So how do you make them crave every detail about you? You've learned how to influence, how to build mystery, how to make them crave your presence. But there's one final piece to complete the puzzle. Because true power isn't about trying to attract attention, it's about controlling perception. So, what makes someone truly magnetic? Most people think charisma is about being loud, being the life of the party, or constantly seeking validation. But the reality? True charisma is about how people perceive you, not how much noise you make. The most magnetic individuals control how they are seen without ever forcing it. Charisma isn't about being liked by everyone. It's about making people feel something when they're around you. The powerful don't adapt to the energy in the room. They create it. But how do you actually become the person they can't ignore? If they can control your emotions, they control you. This is why the most influential people don't react impulsively. They don't let emotions dictate their decisions. Think about the most powerful figures in history. They didn't explode in anger. They didn't show desperation. They didn't seek constant reassurance. Instead, they mastered emotional detachment, the ability to remain unaffected by external forces. The moment you detach from the need to impress, they start trying to impress you. And the fastest way to build this presence, control the way you speak. Most people speak to be heard. The powerful speak to be remembered. Your voice is your most underutilized tool of influence. Slow down. Fast talkers seem anxious. Slow talkers seem confident. Lower your tone. Authority is felt, not shouted. Pause before answering. This forces others to listen more intently. Imagine two people in a heated argument. One speaks quickly, emotionally, trying to prove their point. The other? They pause, they wait, and when they finally speak, their words hit with precision. But it's not just about what you say. It's also about what you don't say. The power of strategic silence. Let them lean in. The weakest person in the room is the one who speaks just to fill the silence. The strongest? The one who waits, who lets others overthink, who creates tension with their presence. When you pause, people instinctively focus more on your words. When you don't immediately react, they become anxious to fill the gap. When you stay silent instead of defending yourself, they start doubting their own stance. You're in a negotiation. They challenge you. Most people would jump to defend their position, but the powerful, they wait, they hold their frame, and in that silence, the other side starts second-guessing themselves. Now, there's one final step to becoming the person they can't resist. The rule of selective emotion: display feelings only when it benefits you. Emotion is your weapon. Wield it with control, and you own the room. Lose control, and you become their pawn. The most powerful individuals don't suppress emotions. They control when and how they display them. When someone expects anger, stay calm. Make them question their approach. When they assume indifference, show intensity. Keep them on edge. When they seek emotional validation, hold back. Make them work for it. Imagine a leader addressing a crisis. If they panic, the crowd panics. But if they remain composed, unshaken, confident, the crowd follows their lead. If you've made it this far, you already understand something most people never will. Influence isn't given, it's taken. Weak people hesitate. The powerful take action. So here's the question. Are you watching or are you becoming? Drop a comment. I control the room. Then watch how people treat you differently this week and let me know what happens. Most watch. Few act. The powerful take action. The weak hesitate. So ask yourself, will you remain the same or will you start applying these principles today? Most people watch and forget. The ones who take action, they control the game.